Have you ever wondered if your acts of giving are really making a difference? Like, what if I told you that there are ways to track even the most intangible impacts that you're having with your gifts and superpowers? Like, what would change in your life if you could actually see the ripple effect every time you shared your unique talents, your gifts, your superpowers with others? If these questions resonate with you, you're going to want to stick around for this video. My name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of the GIVER method. And today what we're going to be diving into is something that might just change the way that you see how your impact on the world. And that's measuring the immeasurable. So we're going to explore how to track the real impact of your gifts and superpowers, even when it seems impossible to do so. Now, before we dive into that, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, of course. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, or at thegivermethod.com. We don't want you to miss out on any of the content that's going to help you to unlock your potential and really become a true giver. Now, if you're new here, there's all sorts of videos on what the GIVER method is, but just a quick rundown, it's a framework for your personal growth and impact that focuses on finding your unique gifts and superpowers, using them to create value for others, and building meaningful relationships. If you want to know more about that, go check out, there's tons of videos on the page for that. Now, before we dive into the actual principles, items, the things that you're going to do, how to measure the immeasurable, I want to give you a quick rundown. As I break them down, I typically cover whatever it is. I then sometimes share a story, and then I will always give you an action item though. Now, these are designed to be light and easy action items, so I recommend you grab a piece of paper, open up a note, something like that, so that you can be jotting down your thoughts on those action items as we go, because it's not about what happens here on the video, it's about what happens once you take action, once you go out into the world and start to look for these ways that you're making a greater impact. That's how you'll actually be able to see what's been going on. So let's dive into it. I've got these 8 ways that you can measure what seems immeasurable of what your true impact of your giving is doing. So the first one is, something that might surprise you a little bit, but it's feedback. Building a feedback loop. Feedback isn't just about receiving compliments. It's about being attuned to the subtle signs that indicate that there's a real difference your gifts are actually making. And so consider those moments when someone's demeanor changes after an interaction with you, or they reach out later to share how your advice or how you served them changed them or shaped their perspective. These small acknowledgments, they're going to be super powerful indicators of what your impact is. They are signals that your presence, your words, your gifts, superpowers are resonating with others on a much deeper level. So creating a feedback loop involves not just waiting for feedback to come to you, but actively seeking it out. When you engage with others, ask open-ended questions about how your contributions have influenced them. So this might look like asking, what stood out for you in our conversation, or how has our interaction, our engagement, this discussion impacted your approach? By doing this, you're creating this space where others reflect and share their experiences, allowing you to gather insights that go beyond just the surface. And so an action item here for this that you want to do is create an impact journal. I talk a lot about journaling. It's a big piece of becoming a giver and going through the GIVER method is journaling daily. And so put a section in there that's all about impact. And each day write down one piece of feedback that maybe you received, whether it was direct or indirect, and look for those subtle hints that your gifts are touching other people's lives in maybe unexpected ways. Now, the second one is I want to challenge you to become a ripple effect observer. Because one of the most powerful ways you can measure your impact is by watching the ripple effect of your actions. I would say, imagine tossing a pebble in a pond. The initial splash is visible, but the ripples extend far and beyond. We all know what that is. So your actions, they are the same way. The immediate impact may be small, but as it moves through others, it creates a chain reaction. Now, this effect can show up in ways that you may or may not directly witness, like when someone you've helped goes on to support others, or continuing the cycle of giving that you've initiated. Observing, though, the ripple effect involves looking for these maybe indirect signs of your influence. Have you noticed in your circle, anyone in your circle adopting similar behaviors or attitudes after they've interacted with you? Perhaps someone you mentored or that you've helped out begins helping out others, mentoring others, and spreading the same wisdom that you shared. By keeping an eye out for these patterns, you can see how your gifts extend their reach, multiplying your impact beyond your immediate circle. Now, the action item here is going to be to, similarly with your journals and such, create like a section that you could just call maybe the ripple log. And when you notice your gifts to help someone, make note and then check in after a month and see how that initial impact may have spread to others. Now, the third principle that we want to dive into is I want to challenge you to become a story collector. Stories are some of the most powerful evidence of your impact. And this is important for in a personal environment or in a business environment. Stories are so impactful and have so much value. Stories are like a snapshot of the changes your gifts, your superpowers, your impact has created. They capture the moments when your influence has made a real difference in someone else's life. When people share their stories with you, whether it's a heartfelt note of gratitude, a personal testimonial, or a simple expression of thanks, these narratives provide a clear evidence that of the value that you're bringing. They are tangible reminders that your efforts are having lasting and positive impacts. Becoming a story collector means intentionally gathering these narratives. People will sometimes share them to you just organically, but you have to be more intentional about it as you're doing that. So look for that intentionality. Ask those you've impacted to share their experiences. It might be through casual conversation or a more structured feedback request, depending on how you're doing that. And over time, you're going to build a collection of evidence showing the breadth of your influence and how your gifts have touched others in such meaningful ways. And so an action item here is going to be to create digital or physical stories box, the place where you can keep these types of things. You can save these messages, these notes, these recordings of how your gifts have impacted others and use them as a way to come back to you. Honestly, if you're in business, they're some of the best selling mechanisms by showing people what those are. Now, the fourth principle is I'm going to challenge you to become an environmental observer. Because sometimes the clearest indicators of your impact aren't found in words, but in the changes that unfold around you. Your presence can shift the atmosphere of a room, the dynamics of a team, or the energy within a community. When you bring your gifts to a space, notice how it transforms. Do people seem more engaged or open or collaborative when they're around you? Has the culture of a group or a team in work and business or family evolved since you started contributing with your unique strengths? Being an environmental observer involves paying attention to the subtle shifts that could happen. It's about noticing the mood of a meeting or the enthusiasm within a team, the sense of connection within a group. When you consistently use your superpowers, environments often shift towards greater positivity or greater collaboration or innovation or creativity. These changes are strong indicators that your influence is creating value. And so, for an action item here, choose one environment where you regularly share your gifts. Each week, note maybe 3 changes. Look for the changes. Observe the atmosphere, how changes in the relationships or what the outcomes are, and just take note of that and remind yourself of those things that are happening. Now, the fifth one is going to be, I'm going to challenge you to be a growth tracker. So your own growth can be so powerful in such a powerful way of measuring your impact. As you step into the role of being a giver, you're going to notice changes within yourself. New skills are going to be emerging, deeper insights are forming, and stronger, more meaningful connections and relationships are developing. Personal transformation is a direct result of your active giving. It shows that your contributions are not just benefiting others, but also helping you to evolve and expand beyond where you're at. Tracking your growth means taking time to reflect on your abilities and understand how they've been developed and where you've come from. And so consider what you've learned from your experiences, how you've grown in confidence of using your skill. And by monitoring these internal changes, you're going to create a much more tangible record of the positive impact that grasps your own life, reinforcing the idea that when you give, you're going to receive growth in return. And so the action item here is going to be to start a reflection practice. I believe that people should be doing journaling daily and then weekly and monthly self-reflections. And so as you do those reflections, write down how sharing your gifts has helped you grow and evolve. It might make more sense to do that on a monthly basis, but I challenge you, if you could do it on a weekly basis, you'll really start to see that shift and that change. Our sixth one is I'm going to say, hey, you need to become a relationship monitor. And watch how your relationships deepen and expand as you consistently share your gifts with others. Relationships are one of the most telling indicators of your impact, because as you share them consistently, You're going to notice how your connections with others, they're going to deepen, they're going to expand. Are people seeking you out frequently? Do they trust you with their challenges or valuing your perspective and your support? The quality and richness of your relationships are strong signals that your influence is meaningful and appreciated. So monitor relationships, like monitoring any sort of relationship means observing how people engage with you over time. Are your connections becoming more authentic, more supportive? Do you find that your network is growing as others refer you to those who might benefit from your gifts? Like, how are you seeing that impact show up? These developments are going to reveal that your contributions are not just recognized, but also building a foundation for lasting impact and relationships. So the action item here is going to be map out your key relationships and track how they evolve as you intentionally share your gifts with them. Now, the seventh thing, once again, I kind of get to the point where I'm starting to challenge you to be different people, different ways of looking at it, but it's going to be to be an opportunity observer. And you're going to want to notice how doors may be open to you as you share your gifts consistently. I talked about the fact that when people use their gifts and superpowers and do it in a way without expecting anything in return, that the universe has a way of paying you back. And those are usually show up in different opportunities that were unexpected. And, they're often signals that your influence is being felt. When you give consistently, doors open. New chances to collaborate, to lead, or to share your expertise, they're going to happen. These invitations are not just random events. They're indicators that others have recognized the value that you're bringing and the impact that you have with your gifts and superpowers. They show that your contributions are creating that trust and building a reputation that attracts more opportunities for growth. So being an opportunity observer means paying attention to new paths that unfold as a result of your giving. Do you receive more invitations to share your skills, to mentor others, to lead an initiative? Like, opportunities suggest that your influence is expanding your gifts. Your influence is expanding, and your gifts are being seen as valuable assets to those in your family, your friends, your network, your community, or whatever that may be. And so the action item here is keep an opportunity log. Notice how new possibilities start to arise after you've been sharing your gifts. What could those look like? Once again, journal those as you go. And then our eighth principle, I want to say, you want to become a legacy builder, because some impact is immediate. You can see it, and while others, they definitely take way more time to reveal themselves. So the legacy you create through your gifts is often one of the most long-term effects. So think about the seeds you plant through your contributions. How might your influence shape the lives of those you help, even years down the road? Whether it's the inspiration you provide, or the guidance you've offered, or the support you give, these actions have the potential to create lasting change that go far beyond what you'll ever expect. Being a legacy builder means thinking way beyond the immediate impact and considering how your actions today might ripple through time. So reflect on the long-term changes your gifts could inspire. Those that you work with, that you coach, that you mentor, that you provide value to, may become leaders themselves. They may find ways to use their gifts and superpowers in really unique ways. Those you help might go on to just do things that you never thought imaginable. And by focusing on the enduring nature of your contributions, you gain a deeper understanding of the legacy you're building, and that the far-reaching impact that your gifts and superpowers can have long beyond today, this week, this month, this year, or however far out it may be. So the action item here is go ahead and do this. Challenge, something I learned at a mastermind group, is write a future letter, future impact letter. Imagine how your current giving might influence others 5 years from now, and identify what that could look like. Make it real to you so that you know kind of what you're working towards. It's going to help you to envision what that is and continue progressing forward towards that legacy. Now, as you do this, there's going to be some challenges that can come up. It happens. There's challenges that bubble up. And so I want to cover what some of those are. They could be things like feeling like your impact is too small to measure, or getting discouraged when results aren't immediate, struggling to track any intangible changes, or managing expectations about your impact. Remember, every ripple counts, no matter how small it can seem at first. Measuring your impact, it isn't about keeping score in any way. It's about understanding the value you're creating and staying motivated to keep doing it and to keep giving. When you start tracking these subtle signs of impact, you're going to be amazed at how much of a difference you really are making. Your gifts and superpowers are creating waves of positive change even when you can't see the results. So just trust in this process. Keep giving and use tools to track what your impact could be. And if you want to start to look at diving deeper into this and discovering your superpowers, learning how to track your impact, then go to thegivermethod.com, sign up for our newsletter list, or sign up to receive the book when it comes out next month. What we want you to do is be able to receive those tips, those insights, the ways that you could leverage your gifts and make greater impact. You can also see how we speak on stages, can be a guest on your podcast, and ways that we serve and support other people. If this video resonated with you, I want you to go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone that may need these tools of measuring their own impact. And then let's just spread this message and create a world where everyone can see the difference that they're making. And so until next time, keep growing, keep giving, and remember that your impact, it matters even when it seems immeasurable. You are the only one that can make the impact that you can make because you have your unique set of gifts and superpowers, and the world is waiting for you to start utilizing it more. So start tracking it so you can see how that impact, how your use of them is really making a change. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.